All right, we got a 1987 928 S4 replacing the cinder unit for the oil pressure and replacing the springs that go with it that are above the cinder unit. I'll go over that. You do not need to remove the alternator. I'm placing my cinder unit for my 928. I dropped the oil. I believe it's a 24 millimeter, but it is really too long to be able to fit my 24 millimeter. This smaller, they call it crescent wrench, I don't know, adjustable wrench, and the max on this is 24 millimeters. Pretty nice. So it's just a smaller, yeah, it's called a crescent wrench. Yeah, it's got a name on it. So anyways, I got it in there. I've got it loose, and I'm going to put the oil pan underneath it because I figure it's going to spew some oil. I'm also going to replace the springs as well. Large spring and short spring, but I think there's a thermostat between those two. We'll see. All right, next, loosen the other part that's beneath that connects the pressure cinder. 27 millimeter. Use my trusty crappy torque wrench for an extender. It was in there pretty tight, but with this setup, this special crappy Harbor Freight extender with ratcheting, I've got it loose. So again, that's the piece. Loosen it up, and it's loose now. Well, I'll probably hook up the ratcheting unit. Looks like there's some more oil coming out, but I'll let that drain a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Let me see here. So, came out, and the schematic I saw, I think this is called the thermostat. Big spring, and then evidently small spring. Obviously, not evidently. It looks like that goes in like that, and that goes in like that, and then that like that. So I'll double check the drawing. Quite sure that is the apparatus we got here. All right, just wanted to give an update. So something I was a little bit worried about, I wasn't for sure if this part was broken, but I found an example of one that they sold separately, or not sold separately, it came with two pieces. So this spring, couldn't really tell much of a difference. I was looking at the drawing, so I think we're cool here just like that. The other one has a narrow end and a wide end. Let me pull it out. And the narrow end, let's see here, it's a wide end, narrow end. I think the narrow end would be going in like that. Well, I got one hand, obviously the spring should be underneath that. All right, so I will oil this up a little bit with some thin oil and then put it back together. Forgot to mention, got a ring, sealing ring. Didn't get a new one, hopefully that won't matter. Also wanted to bring up, so when you're putting this together, I don't know if you can see it or not, but basically I got the part in the center. It'll be a little off the side, and before pushing it in, this part here, the thermostat, you want to make sure the spring and that little cap is in the center, and then you'll be golden. All right, pretty much reversed everything. Not for sure about the connection. I took a picture before, and I reversed these two from what I had before because the VDO emblem is on the other side. Guess I'll find out. But as far as putting everything together, the spring, I recently replaced the 996 of the low pressure spring on somebody's Porsche, and a friend of mine's Porsche, and it was a lot easier just to push the spring in. And this one, It wasn't bad. I mean, you just had to first get your first threaded in, and then after that it would hold together. But it took a little bit of push to get it to started, and I had to kind of get a longer turn with my hands so I can get it threaded in, and finally to where it held, and then I could move my hand in and turn it, and then at that point I was able to change the wrench. So put the filter in, we're good there, threaded in fine, no problem. Got those in. This video gauge come with special connectors that had like small and a large connectors that you would plug in. I had these on the other pressure gauge. I think these type were on the Continental gauge. Not a big deal. These threaded on perfectly, and it's a lot easier to connect because I already had soldered on these basic connectors, these I-hoop connectors, I guess that's what they're called. So as long as I got it not backwards, I think we're good. Probably scare the crap out of me when I put the oil in and then it doesn't come on, so I'll shut it off and then swap them. But hopefully I got it in the right orientation. We'll find out. Final recap. The car started up fine. I needed to add a little bit more oil. I think I put in 7 and needed to put another, I think a half, quarter, 3/4 of a quart. And running good, pressure showing strong. Took it out for a long drive. No problems, everything looks solid. So use this basic instructions to replace your cinder unit or the spring and thermostat if you want. It looked like all I needed to do was replace the springs, and very cheap fix. The thermostat, the cinder unit, I got the good one. The video, I think it was like 110, 113 bucks. There's cheap ones out there, but I was told don't waste your time. Buy the video and never do it again. So that's it.
As always, please subscribe.